Today, we will find out why these companies are mind effing us. So, well, actually, they are, but we don't know because we're not aware. And why am I talking about this today? Well, I don't know. I feel like it's not. Um, I know today is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Uh, it's cold. Well, actually, enjoy the cold. But hey, enjoy it with your family. All right, but let's talk about this actually. One of my favorite book on why we buy the thing we buy. Of course, there are another book on like about why we are marketed to, but it is not our conscious awareness of these things. And I hope that we take this to consideration. Is this in order to find out why we do the thing we do, we must understand why we do the thing we do and what causes us to act upon our either on the thing that we do, meaning that why do we engage in activity for a reason? We engage in activity for a reason when we were little and up to now. There's a unconscious activity below the level of awareness of the conscious awareness. See, most people aren't aware of these subliminal messages or subliminal, they call it subliminal advertising, if we will. And these companies, these big companies, they are advertising you on based upon what they do testings on you as a consumer, because we're all consumer. I was gonna joke that we're all we wasn't we've been consuming when we were babies, but that could be true. But my mind is geared towards this. Everything that we buy, the big companies understand how our conscious and the subconscious work, and they understand about your brain, what makes you light up inside of the human brain, and what makes you emotionally charged to buy these products. It and what happens is you buy it without any conscious thought to it, right? Or maybe it's your preference when you were a kid. But when these companies advertise, keep advertising, you may hate it at first, maybe you hate it, but as slowly but surely you begin to like it more and more, and you start to imagine yourself having it, picturing yourself emotionally, that you will feel good, a dopamine rush maybe, and then you start to act upon those emotions, and you start to go to buy. You see, we don't buy on logic, like the Kung Fu Master said. We're emotional creature. We're also habitual. We're a creature of also habits. So these things start to form, and we start to buy different brands and different what brands speak us to the most. For instance, I would I still buy Power Ranger stuff? Yeah, because it emotionally charged my um uh subconscious. Below my conscious level is something that make me emotionally charged when I buy Power Ranger, make me light up because I get to imagine me, be Power Ranger and morph, right? But I know that's a bad example. It's still true. It's like anime or anything that we buy, like certain foods. So today we will touch on why we buy. I think we already touched that. What is neuromarketing? What is subliminal messages in advertising? What is mirror neurons? And I said that. So neuromarketing is a marriage of marketing and science. It's the key to unlocking what the author called the biology, subconscious thought, feeling, and desire that drive the purchasing decisions we make each and every day. Marketers are smart. They don't target your conscious mind, they target the gate of the subconscious. Because you put up a wall. You've been hurt before, so most people put up a wall so they won't. The first time going through, they will put up a wall so it wouldn't go through their subconscious. But what happened is these marketers or people who do pitching, they don't pitch, they don't market it to your conscious mind. What they do is they pull the strings of your subconscious. They go dive deep to the subconscious mind. About 95% of the decision that we make for purchasing, it's about emotion. 90% of it is emotional. Or I forgot what it was, the other one. So yeah, in a couple of my videos, we what happened is through our life we have developed habits that it's either not favorable to us and some are favorable, but I'm talking about bad habits, right? It's because it is not in the conscious mind. It doesn't conscious mind doesn't really hold that, but it's in the deep part of our mind that have all these habits, the strings of habits, the strings of thought that when it was programmed into our mind when we were little, and now as we grow older, we act upon them without any conscious thought. So a behavioral economist from Carnegie Mellon University confirmed most of the brain is dominated by automatic processes rather than deliberate thinking. A lot of what happens in the brain is emotional, not cognitive. And it's like how if we keep programming our mind to want a thing, like let's say we want the thing that we want to buy. If we keep uh, putting that into a mind, what happens is your subconscious mind starts to accept it. And if you charge it with enough emotion upon it, you will act upon it. That's why advertising is very smart. If you keep seeing it enough time, what happens is, let's say you start to, at first you hate it, but then you start to like it, you become more favorable, you start to like it, and it makes you have a feeling, you start charged up, and then you start seeing, imagining you having that product and seeing how it feels, and then you start to buy it because it makes you feel good, it makes you have pleasure, and then when you buy it, it's rewarding, and then you act upon it. Mirror neurons are neurons that fire when action is being performed and when the same action is being observed. It's just like when you stick out a tongue at a baby, what happens is the babies do the same. It's like monkey see, monkey do. Because they say they have discovered a mirror neurons that neuron fire in action when it's being performed. And so I covered this. These neurons are also responsible for why we often unwillingly imitate other people's behavior. This tendency is innate. It can be observed in babies. So I said that already. So let's talk about subliminal advertising. But let's talk about um, subconscious. Now, it's very important to understand the whole subconscious dynamic because that is the whole how we begin to change our behaviors through the subconscious. It's not through the conscious mind that it changes. Because the conscious mind is only about 5%, while the subconscious is either 95%. And it's like this: the conscious mind, if you imagine like a big whole ice thing, the conscious mind is about here, but there's deep below there. There's a lot of things that been filed away since you were little, and there. Sometime I remember I was doing a I guess a Wing Chun move. If you don't know what Wing Chun is, it's a form of martial arts, and this form is it's called Tao. It's the first form of Wing Chun. Now, what happened is I start moving my hand, and something trigger it, and it like bring it to my awareness. And what I'm doing is like this, right? You can't really see it, but it's like it looked like a block, but it's not a block. And it go into my head. It said, uh, because I learned it before. But how did I know that? So it means that just put it by your hand on this. When your hand goes away, always put it another in front of you. And so that's kind of like that. So what I mean is, where did I get this stuff from? It's my subconscious mind is bringing it to my awareness, right? It's not my conscious mind, right? And your subconscious mind is emotional. Like anything that happened in your life that's really charged you with emotion, whether your ex lover or your something happened, horrible happened in your life, it charged, but it's in your subconscious. That's why you will be able to remember more. And that's why I tell people, in order to influence your subconscious is by not just thinking about it, but emotionally charge it until you begin to act upon it. If you keep, it's just like you think you're in love with this person, you keep thinking about it, but you're charged with the emotion, right? And you act upon that. You start to take action. Same thing as advertising. They same thing as, let me give you an example. Let's say if I buy a book, right? What happened is I remember I buy a book, I start imagining how good it feels when it's reading, or when if I have this knowledge, it'll help me in my endeavors of being successful, stuff like that. And I start imagining, and then I start to want to buy more and more. So I couple more emotion. What happened is I started to buy on Amazon, and when I got the product, it gave me a dopamine rush. But then it subsides. That's what happened to most people. They buy the product, but it starts to subside. Only happiness for temporary, you know. Subliminal message are defined as visual, auditory, or any other sensory message that register just below our level of conscious perception and can be detected only by the subconscious mind. Much, much Much of the time when subliminal messages show up in our culture, they're selling sex. But not all subliminal messaging is sold. Today, some stores play tapes of jazz and Latino music available through more one website that conceal record messaging imperceptible to our conscious mind. According to one vendor, stores that broadcast these tapes overall sales are up 50%, while stores that have fallen by 58%. Subliminal has ever even been shown to influence how much we are willing to pay for a product. Subliminal advertising does work. So I like this book. Why? Because it gives us insights on how our brain works, how why certain area of our brain lights up, cravings, dopamine, and stuff like that. And I'll talk about also the fMRI. And I highly recommend you buy this book because, like I said, there's companies out there to understand and plays on the tricks of your brain, because your brain releases dopamine and other chemical that make you buy these things, and it trigger your emotion to buy them. And sometimes these products and things are not good for you. Some are, some aren't. But we are forever consumers, because we're going to buy something regardless. I'm going to buy these books. I'm going to buy these programs. I'm going to buy, regardless. We're all consumers. Even rich people are consumers, but they are also investors. But then they consume in a good way, not in a bad way. So no, that's pretty much it. I hope that you guys have good holidays, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I do book reviews, interviews. Just like today, I did. Well, it's not more like a book review, but it's good. But also talk about. I think it also talk about how Apple become a religion, and stuff like that, and why people have like uh, white earbuds or something like that. It's because it's mirror neurons. If you see other people use it too, it's cool, and you want to buy it. Same thing. You're basically buying an image, a product to make you feel good, make you feel better, make you feel rich, and stuff like that. Well, that's it, pretty much. Thank you. Bye bye.